Hey everyone. Hey, there's a lot to smile about tonight. Let me make sure I can see myself on YouTube and then I will get this started. Okay. Thank you to everyone who subscribed this morning. It looks like I picked up a couple of new subs. I think folks liked my short. Okay. Yep. It looks like we're live on YouTube. I am live on YouTube. And I want to thank whoever left me that like before the stream came on. I meant to go live earlier, but I was at Buffalo Wild Wings in Tonawanda, New York, with two of my buddies, so I had to push the stream back. I'm going to do something really quick, and I'm going to bring us in with the victors, and then I will jump into my post-game reaction. Okay, I haven't played the victors much this year, but I'm going to get us started with the victors. Hold on. And please let me know what you think. Whatever your reactions or thoughts are right this instant, yo, let me know in the chat. Let me know who's here. All right, everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76 Sports. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. I am always looking for new subs, and it looks like the Michigan football season is going to go on just a little bit longer. I mean, you know that we were bowl eligible, but now it looks like we're going back to contend for our second straight Big Ten title. And we have arguably secured a spot in the college football playoff. So all of those things are still in play. I'm going to read a couple of comments here. Trevor Coles gave three somber faces. That's probably coming from the Buckeye Nation. Uh, Raheem Gaines, I watched the game with Raheem Gaines at the Buffalo Wild Wings on Niagara Falls Boulevard. He says, horrible loss, credit to Michigan. They brought it. They made adjustments when necessary. That fourth quarter may have been the most embarrassing 15 minutes of football I've seen Ohio State play. If you're just coming in, please hit that like button. The likes are free, and all of the engagement helps. I see Dre Ellerby has entered the building. Abdul Gaines says, an absolute abomination by the Bucks today. OSU could fire both Day and Knowles today, and I would not shed a tear. Dre Ellerby, Everyone, by the way, the super chat, yeah, it's still live here on my channel. If you want to make a super chat while I'm talking, you're welcome to do so. If you want to make a donation via these other means here, you're welcome to do so as well, but you're under no pressure. I appreciate the likes and the subscriptions. Okay, so I was at Buffalo Wild Wings. Raheem Gaines can vouch for this. I took notes. Because I knew I was coming live afterwards, and I'm just gonna go over some of my highlights here. I'm gonna go over some of the statistics, and then some other things that I thought stood out from the game. And then if anyone wants to come up and say something, I'll drop the link. Shout out to Johnny Olden. Johnny did that on his channel just a little while ago. Thank you, Johnny, for letting me. Thank you, Johnny. Let me slow down. Thank you, Johnny, for letting me come up on your platform. So with that, let's jump right in. So Ohio State was picked to, you know what, Dre? Yeah, when we went over the stats, the team stats in the pregame live stream, that bore that out. Ohio State, in terms of defense, was ranked number 5. And so I think that for them to have won this game handily, they would have needed uh, a tremendous output from their offense. So clearly, their offensive unit uh, was and is the stronger of the two. And if you looked at the Big Ten statistics, yeah, Michigan and Illinois were ranked 1 and 2 for team defense and points allowed. So that makes sense. Trepacole says Jim Knowles failed miserably. And Abdul Gaines says, I foolishly thought the Buckeyes would dominate today. I foolishly thought the Buckeyes would show and prove. They did not do so today. Ryan Day has a lot to answer for. Well, Abdul, if you looked at the statistics leading up to this game, Ohio State was ranked number 5 in the Big Ten in terms of defense. So I think on the Michigan side, I think a big question for us was whether Blake Corum will play or not. And that would have a huge impact on the outcome. Now, as we saw, Blake didn't play much, but the Wolverines were able to find enough offense through their other players. And last week, Blake getting hurt against Illinois might have set up what happened today. Okay, so I'm going to go over my notes here. I'm going to pull this. I'm going to minimize myself, and I'm going to use the Google window, the box score from Google, as a visual. Then we're going to go over some of these things. Yeah, so the final score, I'm still shaking my head at this. The final score was 45-23, right? Um, I'm just going to give the highlights in terms of the Michigan touchdowns and the Michigan score. So in that first quarter, Jake Moody put us on the board with a 3-point field goal. In the second quarter, CJ Cornelius Johnson caught a reception right there on the sideline. He had to twist and turn away from that Ohio State defensive back, and then he took it to the house. So again, with Blake Corum barely playing, uh, we had that one field goal in the first quarter. Please get those likes up, everyone. The super chat is live. Blah 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 blah. My Cash App, a PayPal. Blah 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 blah. I want to celebrate this win. I'm not gonna make a push to fundraise or anything like that. So we got those 3 points in the first quarter. I was wondering where else would we get points from without Blake Corum. Cornelius Johnson made a hero play in that second quarter because he caught the ball, he turned, he shook free of the receiver, and then he kept himself up, and then he went to the end zone. So that was huge. That was huge. I think we definitely needed that. Then Ohio State kicked the field goal. Ohio State got its first touchdown from Egbuke, the receiver Egbuke. CJ Stroud hit him in the first quarter. Ohio State got a field goal after that first Cornelius Johnson score. And then JJ McCarthy did what we were hoping for all year long. He threw a deep bomb to Cornelius Johnson because I think the Ohio State defense, they figured they would crowd the line of scrimmage. So that left Cornelius Johnson one-on-one with one of their defensive backs out on the right. And I don't know if that defensive back got caught looking in the backfield, but Cornelius Johnson was wide open, and JJ dropped a beautiful ball in his arms, and then Cornelius once again took it to the house. And as they pointed out in Johnny Golden's live stream, I think once those two plays happened, I think JJ just kind of settled in and started feeling good and just relaxed for the rest of the game. So there was that Cornelius Johnson touchdown reception. Things got a little bit shaky toward the end of the first half. There was a clock management thing. I think the Wolverines were in position to score again, but there was a clock mismanagement thing there, and we wound up not getting anything. Michigan got the ball back in the second half. At the beginning of the second half, they did not score right away, which I thought was scary because I was waiting for Ohio State to unleash an offensive barrage on us, which fortunately never came aside from that Marvin Harrison touchdown and the that touchdown pass to Egbuke, the wide receiver Egbuke, and someone else. So similar play to the Cornelius Johnson touchdown pass. JJ found he dropped a deep ball into Colston Loveland's hands, and he stammered into the end zone. I think stammer is the right word, and that's the word folks use for tight ends. But he rumbled down the sideline and into the end zone for that touchdown. So, well, we got another one. That gave us 24 points. Another big play in that third quarter was that fake flea flicker jump pass thing. Okay, that took us by surprise. That took me as a Michigan fan by surprise. I'm sure that took the Ohio State fans by surprise. I'm sure that took their defense by surprise. I think that was like a Tim Tebow, Urban Meyer jump pass type of thing. Our next score, let's see, the JJ McCarthy touchdown run. There were two big JJ McCarthy runs. Actually, there were three, but there was one, I think, that was in the second half where he took the ball and he ran for about 19 yards, crossing midfield. I think that was one of those borderline areas where the offense needed a play. We weren't really sure where it was going to come from. JJ tucked it and showed the value of his legs. I don't think Cade might have been able to get that one, but yeah, JJ got those yards, and I think that was an important play. And then he ran the ball in the end zone with 13 minutes and 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter. That gave us 31 points. And then at that point, Ohio State was pressing a little bit. I don't think that they thought that they were going to be in a street fight like that. And you could just see that Ohio State was just kind of out of sync. And so Ohio State, they drove the field. They drove the field in the fourth quarter with about 8 to 7 minutes left over. They had 3 tries at the end zone deep in our territory. And then on fourth down, CJ Stroud threw a ball to one of their tight ends, I believe. And I thought he pulled it in, but Mike Sanger still made a great play. He kept playing and he knocked the ball loose. And Ohio State turned the ball over on downs. Now, at that point, late in the game with about 7 minutes left, now you're just looking for Michigan to just kill the clock. Just run the clock out, move the chains, let's escape with the victory. 2 surprising things happened. I was looking for them to kill the clock, and Ohio State gave up one long run to Donovan Edwards, right? That put us up 38-20, I believe. Ohio State got a field goal in there somewhere. And then on the next play, please hit that like button if you're just coming in. On that next play, on that next drive for Ohio State, CJ Stroud was in the arms of one of our pass rushers, and he tried to flick the ball to, I think, one of his backs, and one of our guys intercepted it. That killed that drive. And then something else happened that I didn't expect. I was, again, just hoping that our offense could just kill the clock and run the clock out. And Ohio State gave up another run, another touchdown run by Donovan Edwards. So Donovan Edwards got 2 long touchdown runs at the end of that game. The second run made the score 45-23, I believe, and those 2 runs put the game away. So I have a bunch of notes here. I'm not going to read over all those, but the concern was, especially with Blake Corum not playing, where would we get our offense from? And as shaky as the passing game looked all season, it wasn't quite clear that J.J. McCarthy would do what he did today. And with Blake Corum out, with Donovan Edwards coming back, it just, early on, it didn't look good, but they found offense, they made plays, and somehow Ohio State didn't. I think we can give credit to Jesse Minter for drawing up a nice game plan. But it also looked at times, shout out to Buckeye Alex, it also looked like Ohio State didn't know what its identity was. I'm thinking about a stretch early in the second half where I think Ohio State called 2 to 3 straight run plays. And I was looking for Ohio State to go back to Marvin Harrison Jr. or one of their wide receivers, where they handed the ball off. They thought that they could pick up that first down on the ground, and it just didn't seem like they knew who they were and what they were trying to get done. I know that Ryan Day, early this season, he talked about wanting to establish an identity on the ground. I think they try to do that today. They try to do a bunch of different things today with limited success. So I'm going to go over some of the statistics here, and then if anyone wants to come up, you guys can come up and say your piece. Dre, anybody. I know Alex wasn't feeling well on Wednesday. He's probably feeling even worse right now. But hey, shout out to Buckeye Alex. Credit to Buckeye Alex. Abdul Gaines was in here talking trash. Alex was very measured, and he said, I don't know what's going to happen based upon what I'm seeing. So shout out to Alex. I'm going to play this little drop here from Coach Harbaugh, and then I'm going to go over some of the statistics. And then if any of you guys want to come up, you could do that, or else I'll just shut this down. So Coach Harbaugh at Big Ten Media Day said this.
Let's see if we can get all 4 goals. Let's beat Michigan State and Ohio State in the same year. Let's win the Big Ten championship, and let's win the national championship. Those are our 4 goals, and man, let's go attack them. And guys are on a daily basis.
Let's go for all 4 goals. Guys, can I play one more drop? Can I play Ryan Day and wanting to play with an edge? I think this was in the aftermath of either the Notre Dame game or the Arkansas State game.
We were off to a good start there. We still have a long way to go, but we still are building, we're growing. There's still a lot of things we need to get better at, a lot of things. But I think you can see that we're targeted, we're playing with an edge, running off the football.
2 more, guys. The beginning of the season at Big Ten Media Day. This is fitting. Ryan Day had this game circled at the beginning of the season.
And so in the off season, we've tried to really make sure that the guys are reminded of that game, that the coaches are reminded of that game, everybody in the building's reminded of that game, but also know that we have to move forward. We can't let that game beat us twice, but it's something we never want to have to go through again.
He had that game circled. One more, guys, and then I'll move on to the statistics.
Well, every year we have the same expectation. And the first goal is to beat the team up north and win the rivalry game, and that didn't happen. And so, we had to sit on that for a calendar year, and that's not good. We don't want to have to go through that again.
Was that a self-fulfilling prophecy? Because now they have to sit on it again. Well, actually, we were talking about this at Buffalo Wild Wings. Ohio State can still get into the college football playoff, but how is the playoff committee going to look at the Buckeye defense after giving up those two big runs at the end of the game? Is Ohio State worthy of the college football playoff field at this point? Well, and this also, Abdul Gaines is in the chat now calling for Ryan Day's head. Was Jim? Hey guys, please hit that like button. Were Jim Harbaugh's words prophetic?
Sometimes people that are standing on third base think they hit a triple, but they didn't. Thanks.
Were Ryan Day's early wins against the Wolverines, were those all with Urban Meyer's players? And now is he going to have difficulty moving forward, refilling the cupboard himself and building a strong offense and defense every season? Now, were Jim's words prophetic? Did he just did he think that he hit a triple, but instead he was put on third base by Urban Meyer? By the way, Abdul Gaines said that he texted that there were chants in the Ohio State, either outside the stadium or inside the stadium, about bringing Urban Meyer back. Raheem Gaines says, whatever, Harbaugh. Okay, guys, one more drop. Let's do JJ McCarthy. Let's do JJ.
Those are two guys, along with numerous other guys on our receiving core, that just make me look good. And they just keep racking up those yaks like it's nothing, and there's a lot more to come from them too.
Okay, speaking of racking up those yaks, let's take a look at some of the team statistics here. Racking up those yaks. So JJ went 12 for 24 for 263 yards and 3 touchdowns. Khalil Mullings, he's the one who threw that Tim Tebow fake flea flicker pass to Luke Schoonmaker. So he went 1 for 1. That went for 15 yards. Donovan Edwards had a monster game. He carried the ball 22 times for 216 yards for a 10-yard average for 2 touchdowns. Ohio State gave those up early. Did Ohio State give up at that point, or was our offensive line just too much at that point? JJ McCarthy had a couple of big runs. He carried the ball 6 times for 27 yards and 1 touchdown. Blake tried to play early, couldn't get much done with his leg. Cornelius Johnson had a big game. He caught 4 balls for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ronnie Bell had some production as well. He caught 3 balls for 46 yards. Colston Loveland had a big reception in the second half. 1 ball for 45 yards and 1 touchdown. Luke Schoonmaker, he caught that Tim Tebow flea flicker jump pass thing for 15 yards. Donovan had a couple of receptions himself. AJ Henning had 1, and Roman Wilson had 1. Guys, please hit that like button if you're just coming in. Let me know what you think in the chat. I'm going to go over to the ESPN website because you can see the statistics side by side there. Abdul Gaines says, Abdul, keep them coming. Abdul Gaines says, today was the day Michigan took over as the flag bearer of the Big Ten. It's no longer Ohio State. Back-to-back years getting beat by the Wolverines and not getting to the Big Ten title game or the college football playoff. Abdul, again, Ohio State can still get into the playoff. The question is, will the committee penalize them, most notably for giving up those 2 late runs to Donovan Edwards? I don't know. I mean, there was talk but before this that 2 Big Ten teams could get in. So let's see. Abdul says, just like Georgia has taken over the flag bearer of the SEC, Michigan has done so in the Big Ten. There's 2023. There's no seat hotter than Ryan Day's seat in Columbus. Mike, I'm gonna drop the link shortly. He says, "Go Blue." Andy Case says back-to-back TDs by CJ flipped the momentum in the game. Those two catches were huge. We were waiting for those all season long. The second one where CJ was just wide open and JJ just dropped it into his hands and CJ scampered into the end zone. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Let me pull up the ESPN website. I'll go over these and I'll drop the link. I don't want to talk for the entire time. I know Mike likes to come up and give his thoughts. I think Mike was probably at the game as well. Salute to Alonzo Hall, the All-Star advisor. Thank you for stopping through. Alonzo is an expert on life insurance. We spend a lot of time talking about things like sports, but you got to make sure your financial health is in good shape as well. If you're not subscribed to Alonzo Hall, the All-Star advisor, I recommend subscribing so you can at least learn about insurance. Life insurance. Okay, so Michigan won 45-23. So I like the ESPN site because it gives you, at least for the offense, the leaders side by side, so you can look at their statistics. Let's see. So JJ once again went 12 for 24 for 263 yards and 3 touchdowns. Okay. CJ Stroud went 31 for 48 for 349 yards and 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The second one was that flick thing he tried to his running back. One of our defensive backs picked that off. But I think that if you look at his attempts versus his completions, I think that also speaks to the fact that they didn't get much going on the ground. Travion Henderson was hurt. Mayan Williams played. But I think this kid, Trayan, he carried the ball mostly for them. Donovan, again, he had a monster game. He carried the ball 22 times for 216 yards and 2 touchdowns. This kid here, Chip Trayanum, he carried the ball 14 times for 83 yards. Cornelius caught 4 balls for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. Very big plays in the game. And Emeka Egbuka caught 9 balls for 125 yards and 1 touchdown. So Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't even lead them in receptions, I don't think, or at least not yardage. I thought he caught more balls. Let's see. I want to go over to the individual statistics, but this ESPN website, the videos pop up. So I'm going to go over these team statistics, and I might go over and look at the defensive players to end this off. So Ohio State had more first downs than we did, and it was looking scary early on. They had 23 versus our 16 in terms of third down efficiency. We were 7 for 16. They were 5 for 16. In terms of fourth down efficiency, we were 1 for 1. Ohio State was 0 for 1. In terms of total yards, even though they had more first downs, we outgained them. We generated 530 total yards. Ohio State generated 492. In terms of passing yards, they beat us there. They generated 349 passing yards. We generated 278. In terms of rushing yards, this is maybe one of the big differences in the game. We generated 252 rushing yards. They generated 143. The penalties were huge. Ohio State got a number of pass interference calls. I'm thinking about the headbutt from the one player on our defensive back. That was a mental meltdown there. There were, I think, a couple of unsportsmanlike conduct penalties for them. So Ohio State very much shot itself in the foot a couple of times today. And then finally, turnovers. Turnovers are always an indicator of who's going to win and lose. Ohio State turned the ball over twice. And the time of possession, Ohio State beat us slightly there in terms of the time of possession. They held the ball for 31 minutes and 46 seconds. We held the ball for 28 minutes and 14 seconds. It was more lopsided in the first half. We eventually caught up. But it also depends on what you do with the ball and the time that you have it. So I'm going to take a look at the defensive statistics. Let's see. Box score. Okay, I already went over these in terms of sacks. So we didn't sack CJ Stroud, and he was getting the ball out quickly. And I think the stats bore this out when we did the stream on Wednesday. Ohio State had the fewest sacks against. So CJ Stroud was able to get the ball out quickly, and I think Ohio State gave him decent pass protection. But they got one sack on JJ. Actually, no, Yabioki, he sacked CJ Stroud. Okay. And this Cody Simon sacked JJ McCarthy. So it was a good performance by our defense. Michael Barrett had 11 total tackles. Will Johnson, the young kid, he had 8. Mike Sainer still had 7. Junior Colson had 7. But I thought they did a really, really good job in space wrapping up Ohio State's wide receivers, so they couldn't make plays once they caught the ball, because CJ Stroud, he was hitting them. He at least was the leading candidate for the Heisman. Okay, on that note, that's pretty much all of the analysis that I have. So I'm going to drop the link right now. Michael, Dre, anybody, if you want to come up, you're welcome to come up. If not, I will shut this down and I will go find something to eat. Good win. Good win for the Wolverines. Good win for the players, our coaches, our school, our fan base. Yeah, I think the big question for me was whether or not Blake Corum was going to play. He gave it a go. He tried, but he wasn't very effective in those 2 times that he carried the ball. But the rest of the offense, they picked up the slack and they figured it out. They figured it out. It was beautiful to see those balls going deep to Cornelius Johnson and to Colston Loveland. And it was great. It was great to see him, see Donovan Edwards find the hole and turn the ball upfield and really, really gash that Ohio State defense for those late touchdowns. I'm going to read some comments here. If anyone wants to come up, the link is there. Let's see. Andy K says, back-to-back TDs by CJ flipped the momentum in the game. Dre says, what happened to 100 points? No, Michael, I told Abdul he can't come home now. The door is locked. Abdul was once one of our fans. I think he got frustrated in the COVID year and said, to hell with Michigan. I'm going to root for Ohio State. But I told him during the game, you can't come home. The door is shut. You can't come home. We don't want you back. Salute to Alonzo Hall, the all-star advisor. Dre says, King James said, good old fashion ass kicking. Abdul Gaines says, Michael Burden, no bandwagon for me. I'm keeping it 100. Ohio State has major soul searching to do tonight and going forward. 2023 is going to be a year of major change for OSU. Treppa says, at Dre, can't bring up 2020 if y'all duck the Buckeyes and the Hawkeyes. I think the other game we missed was against Maryland. It was in Iowa that year. Dre says, duck, you guys still mad about go kick rocks. Okay. Yeah, Abdul Gaines still brings that up. We quit on the 2020 season. He lost respect for us and he left to go to the other side. If you're just coming in, please hit that like button. The likes are free. The super chat is live. Every bit of engagement helps. Michael Burden says Purdue won the West. So we're going to have a Michigan Purdue Big Ten championship in Indianapolis. So they're going to have a bit of a home field advantage because Purdue was right there in West Lafayette, maybe only an hour or so away, if that, from Indianapolis. I don't think it's going to matter though. I think we're going to stop them. Trevor Cole says, Dre, we've got, ducking. Okay. Please hit that like button, everyone. Raheem Gaines says, y'all did suck. Y'all did duck in 2020. Y'all go kick rocks. You're better than the Buckeyes now, and you ducked the Buckeyes in 2020. Our flag is in the middle of your field. Go blue, says Dre. There's the StreamYard link. If anyone wants to come up and say anything, it's okay if you don't. Trevor Cole says, and Georgia and TCU are more physical than you, so get ready. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we're going to end up having to face an SEC team, or maybe a Big 12 team, or maybe an ACC team. And that is a completely different task than winning the Big Ten. So hopefully they learned something from last year. But JJ's more mobile than Cade. So maybe he'll be able to make something happen against whoever we play in the SEC or from one of the other conferences. Dre says 45-23. That's the final score. We have some trash talking going on here. Raheem Gaines says ducking in 2020 is the current turning point of the rivalry. Some guys see it that way. Mike says LOL. Mike is laughing. I think at you guys. Let's see. Trevor Cole says, Dre, how's your recruiting? Top 10 yet? Abdul says, I'm comfortably nestled in Columbus, but I want some jobs on the OSU coaching staff vacated. That's a good point. I don't think you can call for Jim Knowles' head yet. It was his first year in, and he inherited players. So he probably has to get players now to play in his system. So I listened to his post-game interview coming back here, and he did fall on his sword and accept blame for what happened. But it was his first year, and it was a new system. So that's what I think. You have to give him a chance to build his own body of work in your program. What else do you need to change besides more coaches, SMH? Cameron McKinney says, let's go blue. Dre says 2020 should have never been played if anyone played a sport in college. Okay. John Bradshaw with the Pistons emoji says, how good is Purdue? Well, I think the Big Ten East is the stronger of the two conferences. So whoever came out of there, I mean, whoever plays Iowa, you're going to get a tough game against Iowa. But I don't think I'll have to look up their statistics and see how they fall out amongst everyone else. But I don't think they're the strongest team over there. I think that division, no one wanted to take it. And I think whoever won it, Purdue won it. I think it just kind of fell to someone, if you know what I mean. Abdul says, I picked Purdue to win the Big Ten West before the season. Shout out to Jeff Brom and his team. Dre says 2020, 2020. Yeah, some of you guys are not going to let go of 2020. Please hit that like button if you haven't. Dre says, that is all Ohio State has now is 2020. LMBO. Raheem Gaines says, y'all took advantage of 2020. It is what it is. Now the rivalry is flipped in your favor. Ryan has to flip it back in his favor. Yeah, what's Ryan Day feeling right now? Because at the beginning of the season, Dre says, on to Purdue, go blue. Hey, I'll play the drop again. Ryan Day had this game circled.
Well, every year we have the same expectation, and the first goal is to beat the team up north and win the rivalry game, and that didn't happen. And so we had to sit on that for a calendar year, and that's not good. We don't want to have to go through that again.
Trevor Cole says, SEC, don't fail me now. So I think Trevor Coles is rooting for whoever we meet in the playoff to give us a butt whooping like the one we got against Georgia last year. Speaking of which, I guess I better take a hard look at Georgia now to see what they have and what they're doing and how good they are. I haven't really watched them all year. I've heard how good they are. I've watched the rankings, but I think it's time for me to probably take a look now. John Bradshaw says, what team would be most likely beat in the playoffs? Do you mean meet in the playoffs? Well, I think a lot of this is going to depend on the seedings. So if Georgia is ranked number 1 again, and let's say Michigan is ranked number 2, we wouldn't see Georgia until the championship game if we beat the number 3 seeded team. So I don't know. It's going to depend. It's too bad Alex isn't here because he has he played out all the scenarios in his mind. I have not, so I can't tell you this team wins, this team wins, this team has 1 loss, this team has 2 losses. I can't tell you that at this time. Trevor Coles says Ryan Day choked. Interesting. Yeah, how does Ryan Day feel right now? How does CJ Stroud feel right now at this point? It's a whole year. They had that game circled. Desmond Howard talked trash to CJ Stroud at the Heisman ceremony last year. JJ McCarthy in that interview with Donovan Edwards and Andrew Anthony said, all we know is beating Ohio State. We don't know anything else. Well, now they don't know anything else still. I was telling Johnny Olden when I read that, I said, JJ's not even the starter. He needs to shut up. Don't say that. But the kid is confident. At the end of the Illinois game last week, that's the reason I made that short, because he's confident. He didn't give up. He's unflappable, even when things are just kind of grinding along. JJ's confident. Everyone, please hit that like button. I see some new folks have come in. The likes are free. If you want to donate something via the super chat, that's live. And also my Cash App and PayPal are there as well. Michaels, I'm sure Alex will be touched. He says, did anyone send Buckeye Alex some soup? No. I think he's in good hands, though. I haven't heard from him since the second half, which either means he's under the weather or he just doesn't feel like talking. John says, what if we win a national championship? That would be super. The question is, can we? Can we defeat a Georgia team? I know they lost 7 defensive players from last season, but they probably still have that 6'7" tight end. They've still got Stetson Bennett. And a team like Georgia just reloads. So I don't know. I think Michigan probably needs a little more depth. And I just don't know that we're there yet to be able to beat Georgia. But it's good to be in position to go back to the playoff. Trevor Coles says, no natty. Sorry. Okay, Michael. Looks like Michael's coming back from the game. Let's see what he has to say. Hello, sir. I can't hear you. Okay, now you're muted. Your mic is muted.
You hear me now?
There you go.
Hey, heading back from the game now, man. It's down at the tailgate. Buckeyes wasn't in much of a party mood, but Wolverines wanted to let them know. We had everybody was basically on their best behavior, but we had a good time, man, bringing it back home. It was a little iffy when we was down 3 at the half, so I was thinking about Buckeye Alex and say it could be 3 points either way. But when we held them to 3 points the whole second half and we scored 28, woo! And when Donovan got loose on that 85-yard run, we was like, woo! So we had all kind of fun, man.
Okay, what was it like seeing that Cornelius Johnson deep throw and catch in the first half?
It was beautiful because we were sitting in the north end zone, and man, I said somebody out there all by himself. He waited on the ball to get to him. It wasn't a perfect ball, but he still had time to catch that ball and sprint 75 beautiful yards. And I told you the beers was on me because we was toasting, man. We had all kind of fun. They had like a Flacco. They had live music down there, man, and Buckeye fans, Wolverine fans. There's more Buckeye fans in there, but they give you a little ration, but they know you're there to party, so it's all good.
Okay. So were you ever nervous today, Mike, or did you feel like the offense was going to come from somewhere? Because Blake tried to get in there and play. I think he carried the ball.
I was a little worried, but then when I saw Donovan keep coming in, I said, I think he's trying to get lathered up. He might be able to do something. And then midway through the third quarter, that's when he got loose.
Okay.
So it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful, and that I hope Corum didn't hurt his Heisman Trophy chances, because maybe they could get him lathered up and get him in there for the championship game, and he might still be able to swoop in and get that Heisman Trophy anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, I know a lot of air went out of the stadium when Mike Samer still broke up that touchdown pass, right?
It did, man. It did. It was a beautiful thing, and he played excellent defense. Some of them actually wanted the flag. I'm like, man, come on, get over yourselves. And I think they knew that they were in trouble because you talked earlier about Stroud having that quick release, and man, we just couldn't get to him until the end. I knew that was going to happen because of that quick release, but he was basically running for his life most of the game. I mean, he did hit Harrison on that deep ball. We were like,
That was a perfect ball.
It was, and he put it to where only Harrison can catch it. That kid is going to be a beast. He's a good player, but other than that ball, we for the most part kept him in check, kept him in front of us. He catches the ball, we make the tackle. You notice how we didn't miss open field tackles. That'd make Johnny O proud.
Yep. I thought that was huge. They got those receptions, but for the most part, they wrapped them up and pulled them down. That was key.
But when basically when Donovan got loose on that 75-yard run, Buckeyes fans was trying to beat the traffic, man.
Okay.
And then when he got that 85-yard run, people was really trying to beat the traffic because they knew Ohio State wasn't going to win.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a beautiful thing, especially since we talked about at the beginning of the year how 2000 was. Man, this game might have been slightly better than 2000. And y'all talked about me like a dog a little bit because I said 38-13. I wasn't off by much, was I?
No, you weren't.
I knew that the both lines of scrimmage was going to take over, and with Donovan being able to carry the mail for us, I think that helped out. And JJ, shout out to JJ. he was able to hit on a couple of key passes, man. I mean, Stroud was going. I knew he was going to get his yards, but as long as we keep him between the 20s and have them kicking field goals, we did okay, man.
Yeah. I'll tell you
But
what,
yeah, the
I was
Columbus Press, they are pissed. They didn't see this loss coming because they said, "Oh, okay, well, they don't have anything to hide behind because they say, okay, well, they want at home, they protect the home base. But when you come in here and you put 45 and you hold them their high power offense to 23 points, now they can't get away from that. They know we for real, baby."
yeah. I'll tell you what, I was also surprised at the officiating was fair. They didn't get any hometown calls today, and I was surprised that they were shooting themselves in the foot as much as they were.
Well, they let a couple of holding calls go because they were holding our defensive linemen. They were getting penetration, and they were flat out holding them. And they let a few of those go. But, that's always subjective. They always say, well, you could call holding on every play. But, man, I'm really interested in Buckeye Alex's take. I'm not prepared to let him eat crow because he had already kind of predicted he could go either way. He kind of saw the loss coming. And I got to respect Alex because he do know football, but at the same time, he always keeps it 100 with us. And I appreciate it about that, bro.
Yep. His prediction was fair.
It was. It really was.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything else?
No, that's it. I think they mentioned in the chat. We put Buckeye to bed. We go looking for some dinner, and then this week coming up, we get ready for Purdue, win that Big Ten championship, and we ain't gonna be lower than number 2 in the college football playoff. If Georgia have a slip up, guess who's gonna be number 1, baby?
Yeah. So we wouldn't see them in the opening game. We'd see them in the national championship game. Assuming both
Or
teams.
if LSU loses to them, then we probably would see them in the opening game because they would probably slip to number 4 because they ain't gonna let them. And then we still have to go through 2 SEC teams, so that's why I'm kind of hoping Georgia take care of their business. But as you mentioned before, there's a lot of football to be played. I know we got our spot, Georgia got their spot, but there's still 2 spots up for grabs.
Mm-hmm.
I just got the ticker. Bama won the Iron Bowl.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I know
Hey,
you're
man.
trying
Thanks
to
for
shut it down and whatnot. So
all right.
I appreciate you letting me up. I definitely want to keep on following this program. You got to do something for the Big Ten championship, baby.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Okay. Sounds good. Hey,
Drive
you
safe,
make
Mike.
sure you have a good evening, my brother, and definitely go blue. And we're gonna do this thing, man. We really got a shot at the Natty. And I know we're a little excited, but at the same time, we still got to be able to get through Georgia. I think the boys want to see Georgia, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep. But definitely go blue. And I'll talk to you later, brother.
All right. Take care, Mike. Go blue.
All right.
All right, everyone. I think on that note, I will probably wrap this up as well. Hey, today it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. We certainly know what the other side of this feels like. So I would caution. I know the hardcore Buckeye fans are not happy right now. But when you lose, some people have a way of overreacting. Some people have a way of feeling like the sky is falling. I want Ryan Day's head. I want Jim Knowles' head. But it's sports. It's competitive athletics, and yeah, sometimes the pendulum swings one way and then it swings back the other way. And these coaches are professionals as well. So just, yeah, try to keep things in perspective. Try to keep things even keeled. All right, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. I will definitely do something leading up to the Big Ten championship game. And then there will be a post analysis of the Big Ten championship game. Thank you to everyone who watched. If you want to support the channel, my Cash App and PayPal are below in the description box. You can leave a super thanks if you see fit. Shout out to Bo Lytle. Respect is earned. And yeah, if you want to sign up for my newsletter, that's in the description box as well. But everyone, go blue. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Good win, Wolverines. Good win. Good game, JJ. Good game, Donovan. Everybody, Colston Loveland, Mike Sainristil, Jesse Minter, everybody. Good game. Until next time.